A very good morning to everybody who's listening to Hello Kolkata podcast live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and other platforms. Thank you, everybody who's supported us on this journey. Today, we are on our 29th episode, and we have a very special guest, যাকে আমি এক্ষুনি ইন্ট্রোডিউস করব। তার আগে কিছু নিউজ ইনফো যেটা আমাদের লাস্ট উইকে অনেক এক্সাইটমেন্ট জেনারেট করেছে আমাদের পেজে, তো সেগুলো জাস্ট একটা কুইক রিক্যাপ করে দিই। কিন্তু তাছাড়াও যেটা আমি ইনসিস্ট করবো যে ডু চেক আউট আর কলকাতা কলিং নিউজ লেটার উইচ উই কল কলকাতা টাইমস। উই আর নট ভেরি অরিজিনাল উইথ আর আইডিয়াস। কলকাতা টাইমসে মৈনাক puts all this wonderful news in one place for you to consume. Along with that, we have the startup spotlight, we have the talent spotlight and the job spotlight sections as well. So please feel free to check those out, and of course do subscribe to the newsletter as well. Okay, so quick recap of the news items. Gainwell Engineering একটা নতুন workspace কলকাতায় start করেছে, so many congratulations and welcome to Gainwell. JSW Group has decided to make a major investment in Durgapur airport development, so that is something outside Kolkata but within Bengal, and we need more of these developments happening all over Bengal. So Sheta, Infosys campus went live a couple of weeks ago, and the jobs have started coming in, job openings. So please do check out the jobs on our page. Some wonderful people from Infosys have been sharing these jobs with us. The campus is live, looking vibrant and very exciting. So please apply to these jobs and obviously join Infosys. DVC, Damodar Valley Corporation, also is undertaking a massive expansion project for solar power in Bengal. So again, we are looking forward to that development. একটা নিউজ যেটাতে মানে that created a little bit of, I would say, excitement as well as criticism, invited criticism, where the travel and leisure company, which is a leading leisure and I would say travel community membership, what should I say, website company, they ranked the top 25 best cities to live, travel, explore. Tate Kolkata came up at the 19th place out of the top 25, along with Jaipur and Udaipur following. A lot of people said, what are these judges smoking? That Kolkata ke one of the best cities in the world bola hoyeche. This is not our view. This is from a neutral, unbiased source, international source. So you can go ahead and check out the original article link, jekhane Kolkata ranked. We are extremely proud. But for people who don't think Kolkata deserves this, what can we say? We'll try our best to bring in more positive news from Kolkata, and hopefully you change your mind, right? That's the least we can do. তাছাড়াও একটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট অ্যানাউন্সমেন্ট, কলকাতা broke all records in the office space leasing and renting boom in the first half of 2024. 12.7 lakh square feet rented. Some amazing names expanded, for the first time came into Kolkata, shifted offices, went to bigger spaces. HDFC, Tech Mahindra, Concentrix, Twitter, X, Airtel, Indigo, Office, Bandhan, the list goes on. And we want to thank Rohit Shah for doing a wonderful video covering all of these new developments and expansions in office space leasing in Kolkata. So many kudos to Rohit. You're doing fantastic work, and please continue to do so. Check out that post as well on Rohit's YouTube channel and on our LinkedIn page. And last two, Credit Saison, an NBFC from Bangalore, has opened its new office in Kolkata. So many congratulations and welcome to Credit Saison team to Kolkata. May you continue to grow and thrive here. And the last one is the government has decided to invest in the leather complex at Bantola to create more jobs. And it's a fairly large amount of investment, 10,000 crores promised. We'll see how that materializes into reality. So with all those wonderful news out of the way, I want to get back to our podcast today and introduce our very special guest. Firstly, we are very happy and honored to have Ankita with us. Ankita De is the founder and chief marketing officer of Utsav App, and I will talk about the Utsav App very shortly. Utsav is India's community-led marketplace and ecosystem for faith, devotion, and festivals. What the platform does is provides religious organizations and devotees all over India with a digital platform for sharing information, making online puja bookings, even facilitating delivery of prasad at home. So it aims to tap into this mass religious audience in India that we know we have outside cricket, and create an online ecosystem around it, which was very much needed. Jader distance problem, accessibility problem, all of that get solved through the Utsav app. They were in the news because one, they raised their first round of funding led by 100x VC as part of their cohort in 2021, along with other angel investors such as Divyanshu Tambe and Vikrant Gandhi. And then last year, they raised their seed funding of 2 crores, led by India Quotient. So funds flowing in, expansion taking place. Utsav app was established in 2021 by Shorojit Basu, Ankita De, and Prajato Shamanto, uh, just in their final year of engineering. So wonderful achievement there. And we would like to understand more from Ankita. How did the genesis of Utsav app start, and then how it continues to grow? So without further ado, let me now invite Ankita onto the stage. Ankita, welcome to Hello Kolkata.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Subir, for inviting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ankita, I know you're very busy as a founder, as a CMO every day, and I know you are in office today on a Sunday as well. But thank you for taking time to speak to us and our audience at Hello Kolkata. Um, Before I go into Utsav app and what it does, and all the wonderful things that you're bringing to devotees across India, we'd like to know a little bit about yourself, like Tomar ektu early journey growing up from Kolkata. If you can share a little bit about that.
Sure. I think let me begin with a brief introduction, right? My
Hmm.
background, how I was in my childhood, what I was doing, and
Sure.
how I landed up, building Utsav. So honestly, I am born to a very middle class Bengali family, right? My father has served the Indian Army. My mom has been a homemaker. We are two sisters, and I have since my dad was in army, I had to be in different parts of India, right?
Hmm.
I've spent my childhood in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, in different parts. And finally, I came back in 2016 to Kolkata, where I settled back in Calcutta, did my class 10th, 12th, and then joined college, right? So I was a very, a good student while I was in my school days. I was always that innovative, that person who would be enthusiastic of doing different new things. Always
Hmm.
enjoy what she's doing. So that has been a part of my life since my childhood days, right? And our schools were also like that. That they always help you in doing things which are beyond your curriculum, things which are
Sure.
very very new, like participating different sports, or doing in art, painting, different kind of innovative stuff. So that quirk of doing something new, doing something out of the box, doing something that is not very streamlined is something that I have been doing since my childhood. So that was there.
Hmm.
So whenever I find an opportunity that something can be done, some new things can be done, or you can build a team and participate in a different kind of project or a hackathon, I was always up for it, right?
Hmm.
So that is how my childhood has been. So, as usual, right, I was a very good student. I did well in my 10th, took science as a subject,
Hmm.
physics, chemistry, mathematics. Did well there, then appeared for my joint entrance examination. Couldn't crack that very well, right? And landed up
Hmm.
in a private college in Calcutta, IEM Kolkata in Salt Lake, you might have heard.
Yeah.
Um, from there, I did my electronics and communication. But what good thing happened over there was that we were one of the COVID batches, right?
Hmm.
Out of the 4 years of engineering, the middle 2 years were COVID batches. Again, the final year was offline, so that went
Hmm.
well. So while I was in my college, right, the 2 years that we got for COVID, that was very, very, I would say, we had a lot of ample time to do things.
Sure. Hmm.
We build our own teams. We thought that we don't have to invest time in college. We are at home. We can do something new, right? We can
Yeah.
participate in different hackathons, competitions, different things that keep on happening.
Hmm.
And our team, so we built a team of around 4 to 5 people, right? All college goers. And Shorojit and Prajato were there with me since then, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so we participated in different competitions from IIT Kharagpur and IIT Durgapur, right? I went there,
Hmm.
build different, bots, different kind of projects over there. Um, yeah. So what happened is, back then we were building different apps, websites for different projects, and
Hmm.
we were not that is not something that you learn in college, right? That is something
Yeah.
that you are learning because you're doing something. You're participating in this competition, so you have to learn in whatever means possible, right? You learn it
Hmm.
from open sources, learn it from YouTube, and you do it. That's what kept us building our skill sets without realizing that would lead to something much much better in future.
Yeah.
So we were building these kind of projects, and we realized that we can now build small versions of different apps, websites, and we had ample time. We thought, why don't we build these for other startups or other seniors who are looking to start up, right? So we built an app for a senior batch from Jadavpur University. We built an app for a couple of clients abroad, and we kept on earning something or the other, right? That was very, very fulfilling, because we are getting more than pocket money. We can spend some money on ourselves, and at the same time we were learning, right? What's better and encouraging than when you earn and you learn together,
Yeah.
right? So that was kind of what was going on in college. We were this bunch of so this group in college was known ki if you want to build something, you want to have an app for your startup, you reach out to these juniors, they will get it done, right?
Wow.
So that kind of a name we had in college. So we participated in different these competitions. We started building, and we earned a lot of like money, which was okay at that time, right? As a
Yeah.
college student, that's ample amount of money.
Yeah.
Then what happened is, it was 2020, right? It was July, August, September, that duration, and it was the first time that Durga Puja was not happening, right? Durga Puja was not happening offline. People couldn't go out because of COVID restrictions,
Yeah.
and we realized that this is something that is happening for the first time. Us all being Bengalis, we were very, very connected to the fact that this year we are not celebrating Durga Puja, and that touched us, right? That was like,
Yeah.
why don't we do something? Why don't we build an app where all these committees could come together on board? They could share regular updates, pictures, videos, and we could consume as a as a normal person. And everybody in the team got excited, right? That was, I think, one fine night. We were just on a Google Meet discussing some random stuff, and this kind of idea came in, and everybody was so excited. They're like, yeah, you guys build the app. I'll get some, I'll get in touch with these puja committees through Facebook or somehow, and I'll ask them to join. And we can also do like a online Sharad Chamman, right? Which was the first time People's Choice Sharad Chamman, where people could come and vote for their favorite committees,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So at that time, we didn't realize that it was a growth hack. But later on, we realized it was such a beautiful organic growth hack where we didn't spend any money in marketing, but we got
Yeah.
so many users and people joining in the platform, right? Without a single penny being spent. Not just that, the committees also, the moment top 10, 15 committees joined in, others had a FOMO, right? That there's this Shamman happening, which is People's Choice Sharad Shamman, and we are out of it. How can that be possible, right? And then they figured out that there's this app which is available free of cost. You can join and you can participate. And we started with this project, right? We
Yeah.
just had, I think, 2 months before Durga Puja, and we were onto it full time, right? We were building the app, we were fixing the bugs. We created a separate team of 2, 3 people who would reach out to these committees on call and tell them that this is something happening. We want you to be there on the platform. And meanwhile, we also started sharing on Facebook that, this year Durga Puja is happening online on Utsav app, right? First time you watch it online, right? And we got, I think, we launched the app in a month or so with a lot of bugs and a lot of issues in the app, but we launched it because we didn't have any more time. And we got around 15 to 20,000 downloads within a span of just 1 week, right?
Wow.
And that was the first kind of the projects that we built before were good as projects, but we didn't see organic customers or users coming in, right? Because we built it for somebody else. So app
Yeah.
banake we gave it to them, right? Now we didn't know what's going on after that. But for this one, since this was our own project, we
Yeah.
realized that we were building this app and we would see users coming in and using it and then reporting us with their feedbacks and problems on what all things could be improved. And that
Yeah.
was something very, very new and for the first time, right? That gave us the motivation on why we should build more such kind of products and more features in the app, right? So that is how the first version of Utsav app came into picture. The current app, the current services that the app provides are very, very different than what it was in 2020. But that was the initial start of Utsav app. Subhit, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was on mute. Hi, Ankita. Go.
Cool. So after that, you can hear me, right? I think there's some network issue. Just wait on. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Ankita, can you say something? Sorry.
Hello. Can you hear me now? Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Then I'm
Hello.
unable to hear you. Uh, Hold on.
No problem.
Just give me 1 second.
We're just waiting for Subid, our host, to join back. Yes.
Hey,
Can you
Ankita,
hear
can
me
you say?
now?
I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me now? Can you
Okay.
hear me? Okay. Shall I rejoin? Shall I rejoin? You're on mute, Subid.
এইবার ঠিক আছে?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, fine. I couldn't hear you at all over the last few couple of minutes, but I
Okay.
think, and apologies from my end for that. So, sort of what I gathered till I was able to hear is, this wonderful experience of being able to do something for the community and seeing, live feedback, live tracking, subscribers growing, sort of gave you the idea. So if I have missed that part, maybe if you can recap for me, because I think our audiences would have heard, how did you sort of decide to take the plunge into entrepreneurship from there?
Right. So I think it was pure customers' love and users' feedback, right? The moment we wrapped up with Durga Puja 2020, we started getting requests from the Kali Puja communities that please do the same kind of a darshan and puja and this thing Sharad Samman for Kali Puja committees as well, right? Then we got requests from Chandan Nagar and Rishra that Jagadhatri Puja is also to be done online on Utsav App, right? So we were like, we don't have to build anything extra, right? The product was in place, people could
Yeah.
use it. We just had to rename and rebrand for different kind of festivals. So the
Yeah.
idea and the enthusiasm came from the committees itself, from the people itself, right? They wanted more, and we didn't have a long fetched plan on what we are going to do after Durga Puja 2020. But since we got these requests, we kept on doing, right? I think the festivals and the competitions kept on happening till Saraswati Puja, till February. So it was from October to February, this entire stretch of time, we were busy doing this. And then 2021 was a bit slow for us because all of us families and everybody was affected by COVID. Then again, 2021, Durga Puja, we again did it online again, version 2 of it. That also went really, really well. And 2021 end, after Durga Puja, we sat back with the team, right? That was when everybody was back at home doing fine. And we were like, so we have done this twice. We have celebrated Durga Puja online on Utsav app. People have loved it. What's next? Right? Then when the discussion started. At that point of time, we were at our third year of engineering, right? Placements and all were also starting. We were, there was pressure from the family that, go for your placements, get a good job. What are you
Yeah.
going to do next? And me with my other partners, we were discussing, right? Guys, what's the plan, right? Are we taking up some job or are we looking to scale Utsav, pivot, or do something, after getting customers? Are we looking to monetize the app through some means? And this kind of discussion was very, very difficult because none of us
Yeah.
had clarity, right? All of us were college kids. We didn't have any previous experience. None of our families had anybody doing business anywhere, right? In the last 3 generations. And we were the first time doing something entrepreneurial and we had no idea on how we should take this ahead, right? And we also didn't have a lot of seniors, a lot of people to look up to in the startup ecosystem. We realized that we have to do, we have to take a shot. We'll have to do something. So Sarojit said, let me figure out something, right? First of all is if we want to scale the app and we want to take this for a longer run, we need funds, right?
Yeah.
Till now, it was a free college project. The moment we get more customers and more people joining the app, we'll have to pay for the servers, we'll have to pay for the cloud infrastructure, and we need
Yeah.
money. Right? From day one, we won't be able to make it bootstrapped. We'll need funds. So I
Yeah.
said, so how do we get funds, right? What's the process of getting your funding? So we figured out, we read a lot of blogs, we figured out on YouTube and online sources that, you'll have to pitch to these VCs, right?
Yeah.
Who apparently spend on you, who fund you for your growth, and then they make money out of it, right? How
Yeah.
does that ecosystem work? Why will they fund money after they give the funding? What is their expectation from us? Will be able to still build Utsav with our own vision, or their points will come into picture, right? All these questions started coming up, and we were, kind of exploring how does this happen, right? At that point of time, Shark Tank was not a hit, right? So all of us currently are much,
Hmm.
much aware of how these investor and startup pitches
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
why do they fund and all these things. But back then
Hmm.
it was not a trend, right? We were not used to of a investor startup pitch.
Yeah.
So we searched on LinkedIn, investors, VCs, जिनके भी bio में लिखा हुआ था. We started pinging them and telling them that we are building something like this. We have 50,000 people on the app. They are enjoying. They are doing this, that. We are three college kids. We are registering this company. We need funds to scale this, right? Very
Hmm.
simple message we have been circulating to all the investors on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So the conversion rate is similar to what happens in marketing. You send to 100 people, 10 people will read and 2 people will reply. Right?
Hmm.
So we started spamming investors, and I think mailed and sent messages to different partners and founding members of different VC firms. We got no
Yeah.
replies. Very, very obvious. One intern from 100x VC, she reached out to us telling that, okay, guys, this sounds interesting. Let's connect on a
Hmm.
call to discuss. Right?
Okay.
That was our first, I would say, that there was a first validation that somebody
Hmm.
is looking forward to a space like this and they want to have a further conversation, right? So she reached out to us. We got connected with her on a meeting on Google Meet, and she asked basic questions, right? What do you guys do? How did you come up with the idea?
Yeah.
What's going on in the app? Give a demo of your product, right? Basic questions. We
Yeah.
showed her whatever we have done. She asked us some detailed questions on what's your target market, what's your customer segmentation, and we had no clue at that time. We were
Hmm.
like, we'll have to figure this out together. We don't know yet. Then she asked, how are you going to make money out of it? And we were like that, we will have some, so we read online what are the common ways to make money from an app, right?
Hmm.
And when it's a community app, social app, the most obvious is you advertise, right? You bring some brand on the platform
Yeah.
whose ads are shown on the website and the app, and you get paid for it. We said, we'll do this, we'll do that. She was like, okay, you guys need clarity, but I think it's a
Hmm.
good start. I'll get back, and I'll get back with my team, and I'll let you know what's the next step. We were like, okay. We kept waiting. Meanwhile, we also started pitching other investors. We got no reply as such. I think a couple of angel investors also we were in touch with, and they said it's interesting. Let's get into a discussion. Then I think around a week or so, we got in touch with. So that intern, she connected us with one of the partners of 100x VC, right?
Okay.
Who is the CTO, Vatsal. So she connected with Vatsal. Now Vatsal's questions were even more intense, right? He's
Hmm.
like, what's your tech infrastructure? How are you going to scale your product?
Hmm.
What's your current bandwidth that your product can, how many customers can it adjust to? How many people can
Yeah.
join at this point of time? Um,
This is like college Viva all over again for you
this
guys.
is this is much beyond college viva. In college
Sure.
viva, you read a couple of definitions and formulas and you tell. But over
Yeah.
here, they are very, very realistic, and questions which are very, very market centric, right?
Yeah.
And we had no idea of what to answer to them. We just told whatever we had in mind, and we just honestly told that we don't have experience. We'll need your
Yeah.
help to get this done. That's why we're
Yeah.
looking for partners to join us. And he
Hmm.
said fine. And then he asked more questions, and we failed miserably there. We had no hopes that we'll be called. We
Sure.
were like, we answered something, the meeting is over, let's just get over it, let's just forget whatever happened in the meeting, and let's
Hmm.
just see what we can do, right? But those questions kind of gave you some directions on how you should think, right? On
Sure.
how you should prepare yourself. And they understand, that we are young guys, we don't have experience. And so they told me, these are the things you have to work on. You work on them and come back in another week, right? Come
Hmm.
get back to us, and we'll reevaluate. We said okay. Then in another, so Vatsal, I think there was one startup from Calcutta who was already funded by 100x VC in class one, right? That was Data Sutram. Rajit
Hmm.
Bhattacharya is from Jadavpur
Yeah.
University. So
Yeah.
Vatsal told that you get in touch with this guy.
Hmm.
I'll share his contact. You guys go and meet him. He'll take a short round of interview, and he'll let us know on how we feel about you guys, right? So Rajitda was the one who is going to give the first feedback about us to 100x VC, because he was a cohort member, right? He was a
Yeah.
portfolio. So we got all, so he also called on a Sunday morning, right, near Cole Park. And we
Yeah.
were doing this, we were very much prepared for this, like an investor meeting. We were all dressed up, properly. And he came in his pajamas in a cafe on a Sunday morning and asking us, what are you guys building? What is this? Right? Very, very down to earth questions, but very, very humiliating at some point. ये क्या होगा ये बना के, right? Very, very like questions which kind of question you that what are you building, what's your vision, right? So for a 20-year-old, when you ask what is your vision of this company that you are building, you don't have a lot of clarity, right?
Yeah.
But he asked ki "ये बना के क्या होगा, right? क्यों बना रहे हो, right? Why do you want to build this, right? So all these questions kind of introspect and help you understand that what's the vision, what's the mission, what kind of ideas you have in mind while building this. And that gave us a lot of clarity. What he was impressed with is that at this age, these three guys, they have built an app which has 50,000 people,
Yeah.
which is doing good. People have liked them, right? So that was like the first validation he had. But he also understood that they don't have anything else in their mind, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, yeah, that is what it is. We can't help. This is what we have in mind. He gave a positive feedback to 100x that these guys, when trained and if given proper guidance, they'll be able to do something, right?
Sure.
They are smart kids. They have a lot of ideas on how they want to build, but they need guidance for sure. So I think in another 1 or 2 hours, we got a call from 100x the moment he gave the feedback that you guys fly to Bombay. We'll
Wow.
have a meeting in office. This
Very
was this was very, very we were happy, but at the same time we were super nervous, right?
Yeah.
First meeting we are going to have with investors in their office, and we had no ideas. Before this, I think we never moved out of our home, out of Bengal for sure, right? We went for a couple of friends trip here in Digha or somewhere, but we have
Yeah.
never went like to Bombay, the three of us, just there.
Yeah.
Now we have to also tell our parents. Till now, parents were not aware of what's going on, right?
And
Parents were like,
this is while you all are still in third year or now in fourth year?
yes, third year. This is all 2021.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay.
And we were like, now you have to tell our parents, you have to get our tickets. And they just gave us a time frame of, I think, 2 or 3 days, get your tickets and come. For a middle class Bengali family, this is not very used to that you get your flight tickets in 2 days and you leave, right? And we
Sure.
checked the tickets. It was, I think, around 10K per head. We were three people. We had to go and come back. It was 60K, right? And then we were not of the fact that we'll ask money from our parents. Whatever we had from our client projects and all, we thought we'll use that only. We realized that यार ये एक बार जो हमें बुलाया है, I don't know if they are going to fund us or not, but whatever savings we had, this all we're going to spend on flight tickets, and then we'll have to stay there. And then on top of that, the other two co-founders are guys, right? And for you understand, for a Bengali middle class family, you going out with two guys at 20 years of age is not something that is acceptable, right?
Sure.
You're not allowed to go on a 2-day trip, and you're going to Bombay for an investor meeting, which they have no clue of. Like कौन से investors कौन है, whether they are good people or not, what or what, and those kind of questions. And then what happened, I told my parents ki, see, this is an investor meeting we have got. Not a lot of people get this, right? We are blessed. We have got this at this age. We want to go, right? My mom is okay, fine, take your dad and go, right? So on that,
Yeah, he's from the army, so yeah, take
so
as much. Yeah.
So on that trip, it was me, Shorajit Projata, and my father, right? We went for an investor meeting.
Yeah.
And we went there. The investor meeting was okayish. They asked us a lot of questions. They asked us for a 2-day meeting. So first day was okay. Second day morning, they called us and they said, "Ki okay, we'll take a bet on you guys. We'll fund you. So you have 25 lakhs for some percent of your equity." At that point of time, the company was also not registered, right? So we got our first check without our company getting registered. And then after we had the first check in hand, then we got our company registered with their CAs and people in their circle. And the company got registered on 15th of November, 2021.
Wow, this is a fascinating story because I think, and if I can just play back a little bit to you, I think what I see is, for, the next generation, we are from the past generation, last generation, but this generation, like even with the COVID adversity, you all figured out a way to see opportunity and grow and learn during that period, while a lot of us were sort of going into, disappointment and depression. I think the young folks managed to find great opportunities which they leverage. And I know a lot of startups started during that period because, students had a lot of time on their hands. They were at home and they could sort of use all the resources at their disposal to figure out. And obviously, you need that drive and that curiosity, which I see all three of you had in plenty. And the next part of the story was even more fascinating, where when you saw a little bit of traction in the early days of Utsav, and then without any background, without any experience, any knowledge about how all of this works, to figure things out on your own, like, scrappy is the word probably I'll use to figure out how this works, how that works. And obviously, it's sad that you didn't have enough mentors in the early days to figure out. But I'm glad that that said in turn took a bet on other college students. I'm sure she could relate that probably because of the fact that they are so young and inexperienced, nobody's going to give them a chance, an audience. But she took a bet on you guys, and then she also had to probably convince her managers and her
Absolutely.
partners to that. So I mean, serendipity is obviously a thing, I believe, when it comes to these ventures. And obviously, Rajit, we've featured Data Sutram quite a few times, and a wonderful company, wonderful people. Rajit, I've interacted with, I think, once or twice. Very nice guy. And it's I guess, somebody from the ecosystem who's already done it in the past, to be nominated as the one to evaluate you, and seeing that potential and passion in you guys to sort of push you forward on that journey. It's a fantastic story of what you can achieve. Obviously, you need luck, but you also need that passion and drive to pursue what you believe in. Um, I'm also curious that and how you feel about this. Obviously, the parents part of it is one thing, that opting out of the standard path, right? The beaten path, where you're expected after doing engineering to get into a software company, right? And then the three of you saying that, no, we are going to start our own company, and this is what's happening, and then things are moving. How was the reception like when you sort of secured this 100x VCs funding? What was the reaction? Were your parents, all three of yours parents, convinced that, no, we're going to let them do this what they want to do, or did you have to face some resistance?
Yeah, I think resistance was for sure there, right? My parents didn't even believe when I told them that we have got our first round of funding of 25 lakhs. She's like, "Are you guys sure this is true? This is some scam? Where are you guys involved?" I'm
Mm.
like, no, 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 this is absolutely true, and we have been able to get this done. But being say, being said that, it's sure that it's not very easy for them to convince, right? Their next questions are equally,
Legitimate, practical.
challenging like a investor. They will
Yeah.
ask you what's the next plan,
Mm.
fine, you have got some money for your company, what is going to be your salary, how are you going to
Mm.
sustain, right? And these questions.
Sure.
And it's difficult to convince them, but till the point you say that I'll be able to manage, and I'll be able to take care of my financials, I'll be able
Mm.
to figure out on how we want to do this. Personally, my parents were very, very supportive, right? In spite of being questions, these questions being asked, they
Yeah.
were always like, you do whatever you want to do, you have time, you are young, right? You don't have to settle down in life right now, you have time, so
Yeah.
you want to experiment, you do it, no problem, right? And even today, when I'm here in Bangalore, they are always there saying, if even if you face any problem in your company or whatever, just let us know, right? We'll try our best to help you out. So that kind of help and that kind of support I've always got from my parents. Talking about Shorajit and Projato's parents, I think Projato is a single kid, right? So whatever he says, his parents are okay. That he's their Raja beta ne jo bola wahi hoga. For
Mm.
Shorajit, they are also two brothers. So for Shorajit, it was again a bit challenging. Parents are not very used to this kind of a system, where it works, how it works. They have not heard of the word startup when we started back then. And they were like, how does this work, right? How can you three guys open a company, and what's going to be the next step? So a lot of questions, a lot of discussions were there. But what we said is ki we already have one job in hand, right? So we already sat for the placements. We had one job from TCS and CTS in our hands. So we said that we have a backup, right? So even if our
Mm.
startup fails, we have a backup for now. So let's not worry, and let's just see whatever happens.
Yeah.
So that's how we convinced the parents. They were okay, that you guys do whatever you want to do. One thing that they were happy about is ki my kids are doing something for bhakti, for devotion, for
Sure,
pujas, right?
sure.
They,
That
they,
that
they
is
could,
that is that is that convinces them. कि, okay, huh.
yeah, kuch
Sure.
acha kar rahe hain. So
Very
that
nice.
that
And,
well
and
thought.
God's blessings will be with them because they are
Yes.
doing something for devotion, spirituality. So, Ankita, after sort of this, the first stage of this 100x VC, and I'm sure it would have been a, pretty much life-changing experience for you all to go into that cohort, learn from, experienced professionals in this field. How did that shape the way forward for Utsav from then on?
Absolutely. I think we didn't realize back then, but later on, when the data points came in, we saw that there were 10 startups which were selected for that class, right? Class 6
Yeah.
of 100x. And there were some 3,300 pitches that people gave. And out
Wow.
of those 3,300 pitches all over India, we were among the top 10, right? So
Wow.
that kind of boosts the confidence when you look at the numbers and you realize that and the people, the other 9 startups, those were selected,
Hmm.
the founders were people from IITs, IIMs, already did a couple of companies, succeeded in
Hmm.
some, sold some, acquire ho gaye kuch, and then
Wow.
they're starting a new company. And we are sitting with these same people in the same room, right? We are discussing the same questions, the same kind of possibilities of what's going to be the next step of the company, how we are going to scale with the same people. And
Yeah.
they are ones who are, very, very senior to us. I think there was just one more startup which were again this young college kids. Otherwise, all of them were, IIT, IIM professionals. They have done
Hmm.
something in life, already have experience of 10 years in some job or something, right? Or build a startup, succeeded and started a second company. So when you see that, you are among them, right? At this point
Yeah.
of time, when you are selected among those top 10 startups, you are equal, right? You all have 25 lakhs in banks, you all have an idea to chase for, and you are looking to scale from here, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what background you have, doesn't matter what kind of colleges you went to, what kind of job experience you have or not. And that kind of boosts the confidence, that makes us feel that maybe we have done something for sure, that's why we are here, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. So that
Yeah.
kind of confidence and motivation kind of plays a very important role, and that gives you a stand to take with these other fellow portfolio founders on listening to their journey, listening to their experiences, understanding how they are looking, how they are creating a vision for their company, and we could take inspiration from that on how we want to do for ourselves. So I think
Yeah.
that is a very, very important role.
Yeah. And sort of jumping forward a couple of years, then in 2023, once you had seen a substantial amount of growth, and obviously partnerships with religious organizations, growing the subscriber base, diversifying your content, expanding your offerings. With that, how did the second round of funding, the seed funding that you call from India Quotient, how did that materialize? And when did you feel that you need to go for another round of funding? 100x VC, what was their take that this is the right time for you guys? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I'll start from the 25 lakhs of funding from 100x only. So the
Yeah.
journey after that, although it seemed that it will be easier and we will be able to scale because we have capital now, it was
Yeah.
not easy. It was
Hmm.
it was even more challenging, because we realized that 25 lakhs for a personal level is very, very huge for us. Just straight
Sure.
out of college and you see 25 lakhs in your banks, you are like, wow, right? We were
Yeah.
calculating in terms of if I would have got 50,000 salary a month, how much
How
time it
many
would take.
years?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
Sure.
when you realize that this money is for the company and how much money it takes for a company to scale and grow, this is
Hmm.
peanuts. This is nothing,
Hmm.
right? This
Hmm.
would sustain you for 6 to 8 months. That's it.
Hmm.
What's the next step? So you just have a runway of 8 months and you have to plan how you're going to get next round of funding, or how you're going to go to a stage that next round of investors would be interested to fund you again, right? So
Yeah.
for example, today you have 50,000 customers. How many customers or how much revenue in the next 6 months are you going to plan and get so that you get your next round of funding? That is the point we were in. The moment we raised capital, we realized it, that we
Hmm.
don't have a lot of money, right? It looks huge to me at this level out of college, but it is
Yeah.
not. And
Hmm.
we started seeing that the moment we started building our team, we started paying them, we started scaling our product, hiring good people, we saw
Hmm.
money was flowing like water, right? uh, every month we were burning 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, and we were saying, यार 25 लाख में तो 5 लाख बर्न करेंगे तो 5 महीने में पैसा खत्म, what's going to happen next,
Hmm.
right? And we also realized that we have to scale, right? We have to either get more customers, and not
Yeah.
just customers. What's going to happen after these customers are on your app? How are they going to pay you, and why will they pay you? Right?
Sure.
That kind of brought us back to the drawing board to realize what should be the monetizing strategy of the app.
Yeah.
We figured out that in religion there are different. Religion has been one of the largest markets since ages, right?
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
Yes, and we
Yes.
realized that
I
there
mean,
are,
Vatican is the richest organization in the world, is what I believe is factually
yeah.
correct. Yeah.
So market size, there's no question. How big is the market? Nobody asks, because in India, religion is huge.
Yeah.
Nobody asks how much money you can make, but the question is, how are you going to make that money, right? Why should
Yeah.
people pay? So majority chunk of religious economy flows into construction of temples and creating new temples, and travel tours and travels for pilgrimages, right? Char
Yeah.
Dham Yatra, Bara Jyotirling Yatra, Dham Yatra, and all these things.
Hmm.
But we were not yet there to make money out of that chunk, right? The next set of economy that flows into this religion is into tours and travels, constructions, all
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
Then there was these puja samagri, puja, Pandit ji ka dakshina, all these are the next set of tier of payments that happen. We
Hmm.
realized that none of these sectors are where we can make money. Neither we can construct temples, nor we can help in tours and travels at this point of time, nor we can have some dakshina or something, because we are not the ones who are doing pujas. Pujas will be done
Yeah.
by the panditjis. So how do we make money, right? We realized we have to create a new market in this, which is where everything is going online, from online shopping to online education to online work from home and everything. This sector will also go online sometime. If it doesn't go online, then the next generation will not be linked to it anymore, right?
Hmm.
It's as simple as that. Ki
Interesting.
today for a youngster, today for my sister, she knows everything that is there on her phone. She doesn't know what is being shown on the newspaper or what is being happening at the world outside
Yeah.
her. Right? If it
Very
is there on
interesting.
her phone, she's aware. So if our religion, our culture, rituals have to be carried on to the next generation, is it has to be available on phone, right? How
Hmm.
can everything be there on phone and not your rituals and religion and your part of life, which is so important for us, right? It plays a very important role. We have 13 festivals in 12 months. So how can that important part of your life not be there available digitally? That was the very prime question we had. And
Yeah.
we realized that we have to have this online. This will go online, maybe not immediately, but in the next 5 years, we will see this shift happening, where all the online, all the practices and rituals and darshan and tickets happen online. Right? The big tier one temples,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No, go ahead. I think this is a terrific insight. And I think now we have doctors consulting on the phone. We have
correct,
lawyers consulting on the phone. You're doing every other thing on the phone, from your entertainment to groceries to every aspect of your life is touched via
right,
an app in some form or the other. And exactly as you said, right, for our parents' generation, obviously they would want to go to the temple. They would want to sit physically in front of, whatever
correct,
God they worship, and they will do those rituals physically. But for our generation, for good or bad, but this is the reality, that we want to do everything digitally. We want to do everything online. We don't want to go to the banks anymore, right? We don't want to go to the railway station to make our bookings anymore. We do it everything online. So I think it's a terrific insight that if this has to continue, and for that's probably for the betterment of overall the generation and human civilization. I mean, that's debatable. But if it has to percolate to the next generation, the culture and the rituals and the tradition, then you have to bring it in a manner accessible to them, that they love to use, that they want to use. So I think, yeah,
correct.
brilliant.
Yeah. So I think we started, doing market research on what is happening at the temples at this point of time, right?
Yeah.
We saw that there are temples which are tier one temples, say for example, a Vaishno
Okay.
Devi
Like
or
like
a
like the IITs and the IIMs as well. Okay.
correct, correct. So,
Yeah.
so for example, a Vaishno Mata or a Char Dham Yatra or a
It's tier
Kedarnath,
one.
they are all tier one.
Tier
And if
one.
you
Tirupati
see
is
these
tier
temples,
one. Yeah. All these
Tirupati
are
is tier
tier
one.
one.
And if you
Okay.
see these
Great.
temples,
Hmm.
you will find that they already have a lot of features available online. Right? If you want to get a
Hmm.
Tirupati darshan today, you have to get a VIP pass from their website itself. You have to purchase it
Yeah.
online before going. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
similarly, these small steps are a validation that it is going online. Right? Tier one temples can do it because they have ample amount of money and resources. But when you talk about the next tier of temples, they don't. Right? And they need handholders and support system like Utsav, like other apps,
Yeah.
where they become their digital partner in their process.
Interesting.
That's how we started. We started off with tier 2 temples, right? Not to annoy anyone saying like this, but this is how it is, right? This is how it
Yeah,
is.
sure. Yeah.
There are some temples where you visit once in your entire lifetime. That is definitely a tier 1 temple. But there are
Yeah.
temples which you visit on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis, right? For
Mm.
example, for me, it would be a Tarapit temple, a Kalighat temple in Calcutta, right?
Sure.
Where
Yeah.
our parents visit on every likely occasion, right? It's your birthday, it's some anniversary, it's some
Yeah.
important tithi, Rath Yatra, Amavasya, something. It becomes
Yeah.
important for us.
Yeah.
So we figured out that these temples need hand holdings, and it's getting them understand that we, as a partner, as a platform, can help you with your online offerings. Right? People,
Mm.
if there are 10 people who are coming to the temple, there are 1,000 more who want to come, but they're not able to come. Right?
Sure.
And for catering to this audience is someone who is not coming to the temple, but they have very high intent of coming to the temple. Just they have the lack of opportunity.
Yeah.
We draw inferences which are very, very likely to us. For example, when my masi or my some uncle aunt come to our house and they say that I'm going to this temple tomorrow, my parents definitely say ki, you take 201 rupees from my side, you donate it to the temple and
Sure.
get prasad for us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is a very simple practice that has been happening since ages. We have
Yeah.
just given it a proper direction and a formulation that it is available to everyone now. Say, for example, you do not have your Masi going tomorrow, but you want to get your puja offered at Kalighat temple tomorrow. You book
Sure.
it on the app with your name, Gotra, with your address details and everything. You give your date as tomorrow. We, as your trusted partner, will get the right Pandit doing that puja at the temple, sharing
Sure.
it on a live video that you can watch. You can get the darshan, that your name, Gotra, you can listen to it on your phone. And the puja
Yeah.
is done, prasad is packed, and it is shipped to your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I agree. And I mean, any puja is done through an intermediary, done through a medium, right? I mean, you seldom do the puja yourself, right? You trust
Right.
somebody to do it for you, and sort of by transference you get the blessings from there, and the prasad obviously delivered. So yeah, I mean, digitizing this part seems fairly intuitive, but we didn't do it for a very long time, and wonderful to hear that this is the the part of the chain that you sort of felt that we need to focus our attention and product on this. So what was the reception like in terms of the acceptability, and what should I say, the community taking this as something that, okay, this is something we can do, we are going to do it more and more now? How was that reception like?
I think with time, so from 2020 to 23, 24, we have seen tremendous adaptability in this space, right?
Mm-hmm.
From all the stakeholders, from the devotees,
Sure.
we have been able to build the trust with the experience, with the service, with the touch points that we have created.
Yeah.
Because that is the most important thing for them, right? The trust that you are the trusted partner, right? If
Yeah.
I am paying you, I'm sure it will be get in the most authentic way possible. If not
Yeah.
100% experience of what I would have got offline, but at least 90% of it, right?
Sure.
And we commit on those points exactly. So for devotees, we have seen adaptability. For the temple authorities, right? We have seen tremendous jump from people saying that no, this is not acceptable for us. We don't want to do pujas online, right? That is against our traditions, against our beliefs, right? Like those cult believers. But now what we see is a lot of temples reach out to us saying that we want to get onboarded on your platform because they find there's nothing wrong in it. This has been happening since ages, where if somebody is not able to come to the temple, they get someone else on their behalf to get it done. So why not an app on that replacement, right? So we have been seeing a lot of adaptability from the temple authorities. Same from the startup ecosystem, right? Earlier there was no space assigned to this. Today there's this term exists which called religion tech, right? There is fintech, there is ed tech, there is different tech available.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
for India's religion and culture, there was no startup space that existed, and we are one of the pioneers there.
And I think it's also probably because startups are smart folks in a sense that they don't want to get into something that could be potentially controversial, right? So let's avoid things that could hurt sentiments, cause uproar,
Correct.
create bad press. So let's stick to fintech or whatever, marketing tech, HR tech, fintech, whatever. So keep religion outside of all of this, because it's known to cause more problems than benefits. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a category that you guys pioneered, and that definitely needed a digital push, and you managed to do that. Okay, so fast forwarding to the next stage of Utsav.
Correct. So we figured out that there are problems in this space for sure, because this has not been touched digitally, like you correctly said. But we also realized that any space, any startup you talk about, there are no ways to get you successful in a shortcut, right? You need to have you have to burn your fingers. You have to be in all the nuisance to figure out what's the right way of doing it. Right?
Yeah.
And we were up for it. We were like, we'll figure this out. We'll find out. We got a lot of backlashes from a lot of big temples and trusts that no, you are spoiling the religion, you are spoiling this and that, right? But I think with time they will realize that there's nothing wrong in it. The more and more people adapt to it. Right? At the end of the day, they also believe in devotees. कि अगर भक्त लोग temple में नहीं आएंगे, then the temple is of no sense, right? Doesn't make sense. And if more and more people come, then they realize that this is a legit way of doing. So I think it will take time. I wouldn't say that we have been able to crack it full as of now, but definitely we are there. We are 10%, 20% there in the game, and we have been able to figure out what are the do's and don'ts of how you should navigate through the process of getting these trusts on board. But definitely we have faced a lot of backlashes. We have faced a lot of hindrances from their mindset, behavior, these people. But I think it will happen, maybe not 1 year down the line, but 5 to 10 years down the line, we'll be able to see a gradual shift.
And I think you're right about this, right? I mean, obviously the pushback resistance is fairly natural, because they are entrenched in a manner of doing things, right? And a lot of it comes from good intent, that no, this is how you do it, and this is how we've done it for centuries, probably, right? So why change something for the next generation? Why can't we do that? So that's one. And the second part is, which is a little more controversial, is that there are a lot of practices embedded in it, which leads to siphoning off funds from the devotees, and not really always channelizing into the rightful intended ways, right? And we know that there are I don't know, what do you call it, nexus, cartels of the people who offer pujas on your behalf. And we've had all the devotees in most of the temples that I have at least visited in my life. There is this harassment that you used to face. Obviously, a lot of it has been streamlined over a period of time, because people start complaining. But there's so much harassment that you face, that oh no, you have to do this, and you have to give X so much amount of money to go to the next stage. So it's like playing some side quest. So that also comes from that place where they don't want to lose that control and agency on the process. If it becomes online, transparent, you lose those middlemen. They lose the benefits that they made out of the process. But if you look at the benefits, far outweigh all the other things, because let's say our generation, our parents' generation, is growing old. Their mobility is limited. They are probably located from their own birthplace or where they grew up to some other place because of their children or whatever, and they still have attachments to their old family hometown and the temple that they used to go to, and they can't do it because their mobility is restricted. They are in a different place. They are getting older, so it gives them an opportunity to still be tied and connected to their gods and their temples through digital, where which otherwise won't have been possible. So yes, you will face an uphill battle with some of the authorities who are not very forward looking in that sense. But there is, I don't think, in my personal opinion, obviously, that I think this is for the best and for the better as well.
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, I think I'll fast forward the story. We are already 55 minutes here. I'll not deep dive more. So I think after 100x, we realized that monetizing a community is very, very different and very, very difficult. People in India don't want to pay for content, right? Because content is available free of cost on every platform, right? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. If you're a dharmic person, Facebook will make your feed a complete dharmic.
Dharmic,
right?
sure.
And their recommendation system and their feed is so much well managed that you cannot be a vertical in this space, right? Utsav pay, you only get bhakti content and you pay for it. People will not pay for content in India for sure. And building a long-term goal of bringing more and more audiences so that your platform can advertise is a very long journey, right? It doesn't happen in 100K downloads. It happens in millions and millions of billions of downloads, right? Only then it makes sense for advertisers to come to your platform. And to get to million and billion of subscribers, you need a lot of money, right? You cannot do it free of cost. So after realizing all these things, we figured out this use case, which I just narrated, that what if we give enough value to the devotees so that they are willing to pay for it? And that is getting their pujas done on their behalf, on their choice of dates, at their choice of temples.
It's convenience fee. Yeah. Platform fee,
Yes, yes.
convenience fee. Sure.
Correct. That's a service charge, right? We are getting a service done for you in the most authentic way possible. We take care of the prasad, logistics, shipment, and all. Prasad is packed at the temple, but the logistics, shipment, tracking, everything taken care by us, right? So we are into logistics as well. So once this is done, we figured out that this is something that we'll have to, build and scale. The product pivoted. Tech team was working full time on getting these new features in place. We collaborated with a couple of temples where we could do a proof of concept, and we did. I think for the first month we did some 40,000 revenue, and next couple of months it kept on scaling from 1 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 7 lakhs onwards. When we were at 7 lakhs a month, at that point of time, we raised our next round from India Quotient, telling them that, see, this is how we are visioning it for the next few years, that we are going to scale this revenue, where this is not just, this is enough value for customers to pay for, what we are asking. And India Quotient was fairly convinced because they were looking to invest in this space. They are a very, India and Bharat believers, where they believe that Indian customers and Indian market evolves very differently than the rest of the world. So there's a lot of new things and new concepts like this which will come into picture. So that's when we raised our round of 2 crores from India Quotient in 2023, February, around that time. So then we figured out I think from then the journey is still ongoing. We are figuring out on how we can have more temples, how we can enhance the experience with new competitors coming into picture. We are kind of figuring out what is it that we have which is unique to us, why people should stick with us, right? And we have also realized that over here, temples do not give you any exclusivity, right? It's like Swiggy, Zomato. No restaurant will say that I will be on Zomato and I will not be on Swiggy, right?
Sure.
So any competitor who comes into picture, we know that exclusivity with temples is not possible. So how are we going to be that unique, platform that people will come and trust? It is merely through pure experience, right? The kind of experience that you get on Utsav is something that you'll not get anywhere else, and that's why you should stick to us. So that is currently the USP. We are looking to scale across temples, across geographies. We are doing, a good amount of revenues, and we are looking to raise our next round as well. So let's see how that goes. But I think this is the current direction that we have.
Which is wonderful. We have a question. I think you did answer it, allude to it in your answers, but Samir asks us what's the difference between you and some other similar platforms, and there are a couple of others that I have, seen.
Yes.
So,
and I think that it's good that you have a couple of players in this market, because then it gives validation to you, right? That this is working out and this will work out in the long run. So you being in a space where there is no other competitor is fairly impossible, then you are doing maybe something wrong. Right? That is what I feel. If there are competitors, there's a community of these competitors as well. The moment we face some backlash from some temple or some community, all these,
stand together.
Yes, they stand together. The USP, as I mentioned, is purely on the experience that you get. The kind of video experience, the kind of prasad experience you get on Utsav is very, very sacred and very, very, taking care of the needs of the devotees. Say, for example, we customize to this level that the prasad has to come from the temple directly. There are other players I'll not name. They send prasad from their own warehouses, right? So you book puja at Tarapit, you book puja at any other temple in South India, you get the same prasad from the same location, right? We do not believe in that anyway. We are completely, our prasad deliveries might take a bit longer, right? Because at times it is getting shipped from a remote village to your place. So, but we make sure it is shipped directly from the temple. We customize it to this extent that, for example, you have been to Kalighat, you know that the peda of Kalighat is something very special, right? The khoyar peda. And then that has a shelf life of 2 to 3 days, not beyond that. But when our prasads are being shipped from Kolkata to Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi, Bombay, it takes more than that at times, right? From Kalighat, it's still faster because it's a metro city, but from Tarapit, it comes to Kolkata. From Kolkata, it again gets shipped, right? So the time is even more. And we have had talks with the sweet makers over there that we need special customized peda which stays fresh for 15 days. right? You build it accordingly. Only those pedas will be given to Ma Kali at the temple, and then the prasad will be shipped from there, so that devotees get the experience even after, if it takes 7 days to reach them. So that's the
Yeah.
level of work that our team does to make sure that the experience and the flavors that you get in your prasad are, are reflecting that geography and that temple for sure.
Yeah, wonderful. Ankita, I know we budgeted 1 hour, but I'll tell you, it's been a fascinating, conversation listening to you talk so passionately about how you built Utsav. As I said, very scrappily, and then obviously, getting the support and confidence from investors across the journey, and then obviously what you're doing in a creating a whole category in itself, and not really copying anything from the West, which is a typical gripe we have with our startups. It's
Right.
typically a cut copy paste of a Western app, a Western concept. So you're doing something truly that is very, very India specific, Bharat specific, if you want to say that. And you're doing something wonderful. We had a great comment from Arpita who said that you get to experience what your parents' generation experienced, but through a digital medium, which is, I think, extremely important. I know we are a little over time, but Ankita would love to sort of pick your brain, because while you fresh out of college, you really don't sound fresh out of college at all. You seem to have a very wise head on your shoulders, much wiser for your age, and I think you have that ability to not just talk passionately but think strategically about how you want to grow stuff. So it's been a real pleasure listening to somebody so young talk so coherently, comprehensively, and intelligently about something, and passionately about something that they are building together with the team. So I mean, kudos to you, and I'm sure as a startup founder, as a woman founder, you will be an inspiration for many, many young women and men and boys, obviously, who will probably watch this and will take a lot of learnings and lessons from you, that this is doable, and why not them do it as well. So that's a fantastic inspiration story from you, Ankita. Very quickly picking your brain on a couple of things. Your role today is as the chief marketing officer, right? And you have to sort of grow the base, subscriber, content, diversify all of that. How are you doing that? If you can do it, maybe in a quick nutshell about, some high level strategies about the growth part of it. And then we'll just go into the last segment of Kolkata. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do not have a marketing background. Whatever I have done is I have been learning from scratch. Like you said, getting my hands dirty on figuring out what's working, what's not. Marketing is very, very innovative. You have to think. So some things you can, have some theories, and then you test it out in the market on what the practicality of it is. But for marketing, you'll see whatever you're thinking is not something that is
Yeah.
there in the books. Whatever you're thinking is something in your mind, and you expect the world and the people to respond to it the way you expect it to be, right? Which is
Sure.
very, very difficult, because not everybody thinks like me, not everybody belongs from a background that I am from, and I cannot
Mhm.
relate to this mass Indian audience, right?
Sure.
what so for that, what we have to do is we have to be innovative. We have to get people who have cracked something or the other in different markets, what their experiences and expertise has been, and learn from that, new experiment new things, right? So,
Hmm.
uh, the startup ecosystem helps a lot over here, right? Seniors like Rajitda, there are other Bengali seniors, and people from here as well, whom we look up to, and we talk to them to kind of understand, what works for them and what's not. So the simple idea is, if there is something that has worked for other startups in different spaces, then it can work for you, right?
Yeah.
But if something that has not worked, and you want to and you want to try that out, it will take a lot of your energy, time, and resources, right? So the
Yeah.
easiest is, you see what's working out and you replicate it for your space, customized to your needs. But for me, what I have seen is, you have to experiment, you have to try out. And today every knowledge is available on the internet, right? Be it doing performance marketing, be it doing search engine optimization, or content creation, video editing, all these things. It's purely on the basis of trying, testing, iterating, and then again trying. So I think that is what we have been doing. And what's very, very important for it in a startup is that you have to do this super fast, right? You
Hmm.
cannot experiment for 1 month and then analyze for the second month and then try out again in next month. It has to happen in every day basis, right? Today we do something, some idea came into my mind, I execute it. In the next week, I get understanding how did it perform, and next, the second week, I am doing something else, right? And my team is accustomed in the similar manner, right? There are people who have been there since day one, right? Since Utsav App's idea was existing, in that Google Meet at that night. Even from then, we have people who are still working with us, right? And I think that plays a very, very critical role, that they are equally noob like me, who do not have expertise or experience in their fields. But what sticks with them is the passion and the kind of the lagav that they have with Utsav, right? That is something that is beyond imaginable, and that is something that they can fight for. They can learn. If they don't know anything, they can learn. If they do not have ideas, they can get in touch with someone and get it. But what they have clear in their mind is that it has to succeed. How, we have to figure out. Right? So I think marketing, how it works, or what growth hacks we have done, is purely experimentation, is purely on things which work out and which not, and accordingly, channelize.
Yeah, wonderful. Ankita, I mean, obviously, people will accuse us of bias if we don't always highlight, critical feedback as well. So Samir, our friend here, mentioned that he didn't have a great experience on one time where there was milk-based prasads, right, which probably sour because of the delivery time. So I know you already spoke about that, where you said that certain things have a shelf life, certain kinds of prasad, and you are sort of working with the sweet makers of that particular temple where that is specifically offered to create more customized, long-lasting, better preserved thing. If you can talk a little bit about the logistical journey, because I think a lot of people would benefit from knowing that how challenging it could be to bring prasad as you get it in the temple right there and then maybe bring it a few thousand kilometers to your home. So if you can just do a quick response to the logistical part of things and how you're improving that process.
Sure. I think, feedbacks like these have only helped us to channelize and think in certain directions, right? So I think they are very, very important. But what I make sure and my team makes sure is, even if any customer had a bad experience of something or the other that went wrong, that is 100% possible in any case, right? Not just our space, but in any company, any startup, there will be 10% of customers who are not happy, right? And I take them as that their feedbacks are something that will make us go from 90 to 99, right? And we value them a lot. We have proper policies and refund policies as well in place in case somebody is not happy, because we understand, right, talking to so many customers, that this is a very, very emotional space. People are booking a puja, they are very, very emotionally attached to it. So if any one point, if it goes wrong in whatever touch point, we take 100% responsibility of it, and we are ready to do whatever it needs to be done, right? If the prasad needs to be reshipped without any extra money, we reship it to them. If the prasad, they are not happy with the prasad and they don't want it second time, we issue full refund, right? In spite of us paying from our pockets for the puja that has been done, right? Panditji's dakshina has to be paid. We pay it from our side, but we make sure that the customer is happy, and our support team and people are there in place to take care of it. Talking about, I think the question that you asked, right? How do you learn from the critical feedbacks? I think that is how we do it. We value them a lot. We are in touch with
the logistical process. If you can talk about a little bit of fine tuning the logistical process.
Sure. So the first step happens is, so a prasad that you get at the temple and a prasad that you get at home is very, very differently packed, and it has to be done in a similar way, right? If I go to a temple and get a prasad at home, they'll give me in some shalpata, and they'll give some leaves with it, and some anything that is and those things might not sustain if it is for a 5-day or 7-day period, right?
Yeah, even by the time you come back home, it starts to spoil.
Yeah. So the packaging of the prasad is something that we have researched a lot, and we have figured out that what kind of prasad needs what kind of packaging. So for example, if it's a sweet that has to be packed, then we share it. We give relevant boxes for the prasad to be packed. If it is some kind of a dry fruits, or so for example, the panch meva that happens in Kashi, Ujjain, all these places, then we have beautiful stand-up pouches, right? Like a bhujia packet, right? Something like that. And what we have, so the research starts from what kind of prasad has to be shipped, how much of it has to be shipped. Accordingly, we have our standardized packets and packaging material being sourced from our suppliers. It comes to our Bangalore office. From here, we dispatch it in minimum quantities. Say, for example, 500 boxes to all the temples as and when required to these temples. These boxes and these prasad packaging material, which involves different kind of packaging material. Like I said, boxes, pouches. There will be these zipper bags, right? If it's a khaja or something, it has to go in airtight zipper bags.
Yeah.
Then there will be these beautiful batua bags, right, where some souvenirs are kept, for example a photograph, or for example ring, right, which is very famous for the Shani temple in Shignapur, where you have
Mhm.
a ring that is given, right. There are different other elements as well which go in different bags, right. So all these packaging material are shipped from Bangalore office to different temples, which is kept with them. The moment there's some pujas which are to be done on some days, the prasad is packed in those boxes after the puja. We have our we have connections with our courier partners. We are partners with them, and they pick it up from the temple, properly packed and sealed, and it is directly delivered to the devotee's house.
Wonderful. I think we had another point where somebody spoke about, visiting a temple has its own experience, right? It's your in that sacred, hallowed, environment. Um, sure. I mean, I think that's true for anything, right? I mean,
Yeah.
any experience where whether you're doing a consultation with a doctor online, or whether you're doing consultation with a lawyer online, or whatever. I mean, where you are away in physical space from the person, but you're connected digitally. And if I, I mean, there's no one good answer to it, probably. And Ankita, if you have, sure, go ahead. But I'll add my 2 cents. I think, and not to sound irreverent, but if you truly believe God is everywhere, right? Yes, a temple is definitely a holy place, but a temple, mosque, a church, gurdwara, every place is holy in that sense. But if you believe God exists everywhere, then if your faith is as strong as it is, and not to get too philosophical or preachy here, but if that is the case, then the prasad and the offering that you want to give and take through that exchange can be done from anywhere if you truly believe God exists everywhere. Yes, I mean, I'm sure certain temples are designed in a manner which gives some positive vibrations by chanting and all of that. That maybe you cannot replicate today, but who knows, with AR, VR, and all kinds of 7D experiences. Maybe someday Utsav app will be able to bring you the smell of the temple, the sounds of the temple. Who knows? Ankita, I know we've taken a lot of your time on a Sunday, and you're very busy pivoting and testing and experimenting for the next stage of growth for Utsav. Last question. One gripe I have with Rajit and Data Sutram is that they left Calcutta and had to move, which is understandable because of commitments. Uh, you have your office in Calcutta and Bengal today. Uh, what is your vision, take on Kolkata, and what are the future plans with regards to that?
Yeah. So, like I pointed out, the importance of being surrounded by the ecosystem of startups and other founders is very, very important, because if you don't have examples in front of you, if you don't have peers to talk to, right? It's as simple as if you were in a class where there is no one else, it's just one teacher and one student, it doesn't
Mm.
work out, right? School
Yeah,
is a community experience, right? You go to
sure.
school to make new friends, to meet new people, to learn from different experiences, and you work as a team, right? So startup experience is very, very important, and the ecosystem plays a very critical role. And I feel in Kolkata it is developing now, right? I think
Hmm.
when we started back in 2020, there was hardly any startup ecosystem in Calcutta. But today, when I go
Yeah,
to Calcutta, I visited in March itself.
yeah,
I myself was a part of so many different startups, right? I think
yeah.
the ecosystem is growing up for sure, which is a very, very positive thing to look at. And I think Kolkata is a bit late, but it's going to make up, I feel so, right?
Mm.
Today I think in just 100x cohorts, I think we have 5 6 startups from Bengal, right?
Wow.
And we have our own group of Kolkata cross 100x, where
Mm.
we are all connected. And I think it's just a matter of time. But definitely, Bengalis and Kolkata people need to be much more aware of the current situation, that ecosystem and brand building and everything needs a community, and it has to grow, right? So different people who can channelize that. For example, you are doing it through Kolkata calling, right? Then there are different other people in the ecosystem who are
Yeah,
trying
there's
to
so many
do their
wonderful
own,
people. Yeah.
right, who are doing to do their own bits and parts. I think these small efforts needs to keep going on, that collaboratively we make a big difference there.
Wonderful. And I think a perfect answer. Ankita, as I said earlier, it doesn't feel like I'm talking to somebody fresh out of college, to be honest. The confidence that you bring, the thought behind every answer that you give is truly inspiring.
Thank you.
For me as well, who's probably much older than you, but there's so much to learn from uh, the way you answer every question with grace and poise and thought behind it. And I'm sure young girls and boys listening to you will definitely get inspired by listening to this episode. Ankita, want to thank you sincerely for taking time and speaking to all of us. And we from Kolkata Calling side, from the people of Kolkata, wish you, the entire team, and Utsav App many, many more successes in the future. May you continue to grow, and may you continue to bring this wonderful experience of connecting God and devotees, the temple and devotees, through your digital app. Before we close, any parting thoughts, closing words, and then we'll end the live stream with that.
I think thank you so much, Subid, for being such a great host and for keeping the conversation so lively. It's been great. It doesn't feel like we have been talking for 1.5 hours now, but it's been great. Closing note from my side would be, I think a startup is a very interesting way to learn in life in general,
Mhm.
because if I would have been doing some job in some IT sector, I wouldn't have gone through the experience that I have been in the last 2 years, right? The
Yeah.
kind of experiences of ups and downs on how you to navigate. I think we had bad days as hell and we had good days and exciting days as hell as well. But the fact that we realize ki, uh, if today is a good day and we are doing good, it doesn't mean tomorrow will be a good day as well, right? So we are prepared for it equally. And I think if there is someone who has an idea and just looking, not finding the right space and the right time that whether I should start or not, I think it is the right time to start. India as an entire country is developing at a very good space. I have a lot of friends who are still juggling between whether I should go abroad and study or should I be in
Yeah.
India. I would say you should be in India at this point of time, because there's no other economy that is growing as fast as India today.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And we hope Kolkata and Bengal also ride that wave that India is on. Thank you, Ankita. Thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you, and very, very, I would say, as in all the very best to the entire team. And yeah, do subscribe to the audience and listeners. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We can grow that channel much more. And Ankita, maybe we'll pick your brains on how to do that, because you've managed to hack that growth thing. Do definitely share some tips with us as well offline. So with that, thank you everybody for tuning in this Sunday, and hopefully next Sunday we'll have another exciting guest to talk to us about their journey, about Kolkata and what they're doing. So with that, we'll close this live stream. Thank you, Ankita. Have a great Sunday and all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.